Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Roberta. Today's topic is Introduction to American Slang. So in today's class, we'll talk about American slang and the different situations that you might find certain slang and informal phrases. So English language has a lot of different ways to describe things: slang, idioms, collocations. There are also many different types of English, like there's American English, there's British English, there's Australian English. There's a lot of different types. And these are also called variations of English. So there are different types of slang and informal language for each of these different types of English, just like there are different types of slang in your language, I'm sure. So I'm from America, and so today we'll focus on American English slang. So before we get started, I see Victor has joined us.
Hi. Hi, Roberta.
Hi, how are you doing today, Victor?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good.
How about you?
Pretty good. Yeah, it's the weather is a little bit warmer today on the East Coast. But it's still getting cold. It's getting close to fall time.
Yeah,
So
season is changing.
yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. How is the weather where you are from?
It's okay. It's unusual warm here.
Okay, so it's
usual
warm.
weather, yes.
Okay, good.
In the day, it's about 20 degrees Celsius.
20 Celsius, and what is that in? I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit. Celsius that's warm though, I think.
Yeah, it's
Sounds
kind
warm.
of quite warm. Yeah.
Yeah, good. We have Anthony.
Hi, Roberta. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Where are you from?
I'm from Barcelona, Spain.
Okay, cool. Well, welcome to class. Today we're going to be talking about American slang. So it's an interesting topic. Yeah, cool.
Sounds really great.
Yeah. I'm glad you already knew cool. Most people know cool. That's some pretty common American slang. We have Adrian. Adrian, where are you from?
Hello, I'm from Uruguay.
Okay, from Uruguay. And what's the weather like there today? Is it hot, cold? Is it nice?
I am nice.
Yeah, it's good weather.
Yeah.
Good.
The weather is sunny day, and beautiful day.
Oh, good. Well, I'm jealous. It's a little bit dreary and gloomy and rainy today on the East Coast in America. So,
Oh.
Good. We have Allah. Am I saying your name correctly?
Yeah, correct. Hello, teacher.
Okay. Where are you from?
I'm from Jordan.
From Jordan. Okay. Well, welcome. Welcome to class.
Thank you.
Are you excited to learn a little bit about American slang?
Oh, sure, of course.
Yeah, it's interesting, right?
Yeah.
It's fun. We have Joe. Joe, where are you from?
Hello, I'm from Egypt.
From Egypt. Okay, well, welcome to class, Joe.
Thank you.
And we have Paolo. Paolo, can you remind me where you are from, Paolo? I've had you before in class.
Yes, I'm from Brazil.
From Brazil, that's right. Okay, well, how are you today?
I'm cool. And
cool.
You? Yeah.
Good. We have a lot of people using some good American slang today. So good. So again, today we're going to be talking about American slang. And I'll give you guys a chance to, hopefully if we have some time, to ask a couple of questions about slang. If there are some appropriate slang words that you have questions about, we can talk about those. I'll give you a chance to have sort of a question and answer. Hopefully if we have time, we'll be able to do that at the end of class. But let me just give sort of a review about what I was talking about earlier about American slang. As you know, if you've been studying English for a little bit, you know that there are a lot of different slang words in English. English language has a lot of ways to describe things. We have collocations, we have idioms, we have slang, which are informal language. I'll give you a better definition of slang very soon. But we also have different types of English. We have Australian English, we have British English, right? Again, I will be talking about American English slang because I'm from America, so that's what I know. Okay, so that's what we'll focus on today. Why do you think it's important to know slang, to know a little bit about slang? Paolo, why do you think it might be important to know about slang?
Because slang is very common when you are talking. I think in all the countries.
In all countries, yeah. I'm sure, do you have some slang in Brazil?
Yes, a lot.
Yeah, of course, right? In almost every language there is some sort of slang or informal language, right? So there's a lot of slang, and it's important to know about slang because it makes it easier to communicate with people and to understand people more, right? It's very important. So let me give you a short definition of slang, and I'm going to put it into the chat box. So if you guys are on, you should be able to see me, the chat box on, I think it should be on your right, the right side of your screen. So you can see a definition of slang. So, can I hear from Anthony? Can you read that definition in the chat box?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, a type of language that consists of words and phrases that are regarded as very informal. Slang is found more in speaking than in writing. It is also very specific to different groups of people.
So, just a review about what slang is, and more specifically, the definition of slang is that it is a type of language that consists of words and phrases that are regarded as very informal. And we'll talk about the difference between formal and informal in just a little bit. But it's important to know that slang is found more in speaking than in writing. You won't see writing or you won't see slang a lot in written English, except for sometimes on the internet you will see some slang. Okay, so it depends. If you are maybe reading a book in English, you probably won't see a lot of slang. It's much more common in speaking. Okay. So it's also very specific to different groups of people. Now, do you hear in your language, in slang, grandparents or parents use a lot of slang? Anthony?
Tell me, excuse me. Yeah, it's usual. Yeah, here, for example, in Spain, we use a lot of expressions and a lot of slang related with this, and also older people used to use that kind of expressions a lot. I think it's really common here.
Yeah, so in a lot of countries, older people will also have a set of slang. Now, do older people in your country use the same slang that teenagers and young people use? Do they use the same words?
No, the slang is absolutely different, and also it really depends in which part of Spain you are. The slang is also different.
Yeah.
Related with the position and with the age.
Yeah, it's definitely related to where you are in the different in your country, right? It depends on location, and it also depends on age, right? So that I think that's true in a lot of cultures. Sometimes they use the same slang because it's very common, but a lot of times there will be different slang, right? And that's definitely true in America. For example, teenagers use words that their parents don't, okay? Maybe they might not understand them. In America, we have a lot of slang about the internet. We have a lot of slang about a lot of different things that teenagers use. And I have a hard time even keeping up with that slang because there's so much and it's always changing, right? And that's the one big important thing about slang, is that it changes a lot. There's always new slang coming up, okay? And then some important vocabulary before we start talking about some different slang. And these are important vocabulary. I'm putting it into the chat box also. These are important vocabulary that we'll hear a lot when we talk about the different situations that you can use slang, okay? So the first one we have is formal, okay? And when we talk about formal, we'll talking about formal versus informal. So formal, the first one, as an adjective, relates to a way of speaking or acting. For example, you would speak in a formal way if you met the president, okay? That would be a formal situation. You would not walk up to, or I would not, for example, walk up to President Obama and say, "What's up, President?" Right? Shake his hand. Okay, that would be informal. So you would walk up and say, "Hello, Mr. President. My name is Roberta. It is such a pleasure to meet you." Okay? You would want to, I would need to think about more about before I would meet the president, right? But you would want to be very formal with him. Okay, and that's just one example. Informal, the next one, the opposite of formal, relates to a relaxed or unofficial attitude or style. Okay? For example, it's okay to speak to your friends in a very informal way. You can talk to your friends very informally. And we'll talk more about a little bit of situations where slang is okay, some different notes and tips about using slang. So it's okay to use slang with your friends, or very informal speech, right? And then the last two are similar, appropriate versus inappropriate. So appropriate, which is another adjective, suitable or proper in a specific place, situation, or environment. So formal and appropriate sort of go together a little bit, because appropriate means it's okay to maybe use certain language in a certain place, okay? Whereas inappropriate then, usually when you see that IN, right, such as informal, inappropriate, before the word, it means the opposite. So we have inappropriate, which is another adjective, means not suitable or proper in a specific place, situation, or environment. And we are going to look at places where it's appropriate and inappropriate to use slang. Okay? So some important notes. And before I give you guys these answers, I want you to think about, what is a situation that you think it would be okay to use informal language, like slang? Adrian, where do you think it might be okay to use slang or informal language?
Can you repeat, Roberta, please?
Sure. Where do you think, what is an example of a place where you think it's okay to use informal language, to go up to someone and say, "What's up?"
Yeah. I think when you are in a place like a bar.
Exactly. Good. Yeah, that was one of the examples I was going to give. Good.
Friend meeting.
Okay, a friend meeting. Yeah, hanging out with your friends or something like that. Good. I'm going to paste just that tip, basically, and it's close to what you were saying, Adrian, so good job. Places where it's usually okay to use slang are with friends, in informal situations like at a party, at a bar, or at a concert. So a bar is a place where you can get alcohol, you can play games sometimes, right? There's a lot of people, sometimes it's loud, and at a concert, right? Things like that. Places where it's okay to use slang. Places where it's usually not okay to use slang. Victor, can you give me an example of a place where maybe you don't want to use slang?
Maybe somewhere in the government offices.
Sure, government offices, right? Maybe if you walk into the embassy and you are trying to do something with your visa or passport, sometimes it might not be okay, right? Or maybe not a good idea to go in and be very informal or use a lot of slang or inappropriate language. So good job, Victor. So as we sort of just said, and I put that in the chat log, places where it's usually not okay are at the office, right, at work. Maybe you don't want to go up to your boss and start using some of the slang that we're going to be talking about. At the bank, okay, sometimes it's probably not a good idea if you're trying to maybe get money out or trying to make a deposit. Sometimes it's best to try and be formal, right, because you don't want any confusion. Okay, in class, in a meeting with your boss, in a meeting with your teacher or professor. At least in America, it would be inappropriate if you talk to your professor or teacher very informally. This is a little bit different. We're talking about slang, right? So we know it's okay to use slang. But if you were studying in America and you would go up to your teacher and say, "What's up, teacher? I was partying all weekend and I couldn't finish my homework," right? That's informal speech, right? We know that your American professor would not be happy if you did that.
How about a doctor?
At the doctor, okay, so I would say that's another maybe more formal situation. Your doctor will probably not speak to you very informally. They will speak to you professionally, or they should speak to you professionally and formally. So it's best to, I would say, with the doctor, maybe be more formal, right? Because that's important. You want to be very clear about everything at the doctors, especially. And then the other example, meeting your new American friend's parents. So some slang is okay to use around parents and things like that. Some slang can be very, very inappropriate and crude and rude, right? And the slang we're going to talk about today is more appropriate. It's not very shocking, right? But we know that in every language there is some very inappropriate language, right? Very inappropriate slang, right? Informal language. But in this class we'll be mostly appropriate. But we know that if you're meeting your new American friend's parents, maybe for the first time at least, you would want to try and be a little bit more formal and polite, okay? Any questions before I start giving you guys some examples about some slang?
For me, it's clear.
Okay, good, good. Definitely, if you guys have any questions, just say, "Teacher, teacher, I have a question about this slang or this thing that you just said," okay? Okay. So the next question I have for you guys, I'm typing it into the chat log. Have you ever heard the phrase, "What's up"?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's very common. What does it mean?
How are you?
It's sort of like, "How are you?" Good.
What's new?
Yeah, yeah, it's like what's new, exactly, Victor. What about this one? And this is a sort of a weird one. This next one that I just typed in. Sup.
Sup?
Have you guys ever heard that one?
No,
Yeah,
I've
I
never heard. But
Okay, yeah, if you sometimes if you might watch a like American movie, sometimes
Is
they
it
might say sup.
same with WhatsApp?
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what it means. It's similar to what's up. It means the same thing, but it's very short, right? Only one syllable. Sup, right? What about this next one? And I'm putting it into the chat box. Hiya.
How are you?
It's the same, right? It just means hello, right? Hiya. Have you ever heard that one?
No,
Not
I've
yet.
never heard it.
It's kind of different, right? It depends on where you are where you would hear that one. Look at this one. This next one. Can someone read that one out loud for me? I'm going to ask Allah.
Howdy?
Howdy. Yeah.
Howdy.
Yeah. Has anyone ever heard that one before?
No?
I have read about it.
Yeah. What does it mean, Victor?
It's how do you do? It's I read it's from Texas.
Yeah, so I'm glad you said Texas. We sometimes would say that it's more of like a cowboy slang. It's another way to say hello. If you would come to where I am from, which is in the East Coast, in Pennsylvania, people do not say howdy, right? But sometimes people say that they might say howdy in other places in the United States. So this is sort of an example of different slang in different areas of the United States. So, yeah.
Understandable, right?
What do you mean understandable?
If I say howdy in the
Mm-hmm.
place where are you from, is it understandable?
Yeah, they would know what you mean. They would know that you're saying hello.
Okay.
But yeah, it's people wouldn't normally say it if they were just passing their friend. No one would say howdy. They might say what's up. They might say how's it going. They might say hey, right? Sometimes they don't even say anything. Sometimes they might just do a head nod, right? That's it. So there's lots of different ways to say hello. Good question though, Victor. Before we start, do you guys know of any other ways to say hello in English that are slang? Or do you know any other appropriate slang in English before we get started looking at the slang that I'm going to show you? Okay, I'll give you some time after we talk about some slang that I gathered together after class, at the end of class. You'll have some time to ask. Okay? So again, we know that slang is a type of language that are words and phrases that are very informal. Today, we are going to talk about a number of different types or categories of English. So I'm going to type in the categories into the chat log. And the categories that we will talk about today are, we have money, we have coffee, we have describing things that are good or positive, we have insults, we have food and eating, and we have slang that's generally used between friends. It's just sort of general slang that you might say to your friends. Okay? So any questions before we get started? Okay. So I'm going to screen share it with you guys. And it's just an American Slang and Variations reading. I've actually attached it to the this class, so you should all be able to get it. And I just pulled it up. I'm hearing a lot of like echo in someone's microphone. Okay, now it's a little bit better. Yeah, it was weird. I was hearing my voice echoed back to me. Okay. So can everyone read this clearly? Do I need to make this bigger? Paolo, what do you think?
It's okay.
Okay. You also, again, as I said, you all have a copy of this attached to the class. So after class, if you want to print this out, you can have it. Okay. So let's look at American slang and variations. Victor, I'm going to ask you to read the first one about money.
Okay, money. Americans have a lot of names for the word money. You can call money duff, bread, cheddar, or loot. There are even a few names for different banknotes. For example, a $5 bill can be called a fiver, while a $1 bill can be called a single or a buck. A $100 bill is called a Benjamin, after the name of Benjamin Franklin, who is pictured on the note. $1,000 can be called a grand, or a few $1,000 bills can just be called GS. If you have many $1,000 bills, you can call them stacks. Borrow money from someone, you can ask them to spot you. This may seem like a lot of slang words for just one term, but there are actually many more.
Okay. So I'm still hearing Anthony, I think it might be your microphone that's causing a little bit of an echo on me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think if you, whenever...
I'll try to silence.
Okay, yeah. And I think that might have worked. Yeah. Thanks, Anthony. Sorry about that. So we have, we just read about money. And as we said, there are a lot of slang words for just this one term, but there are actually a lot more. Are these, have you heard any of these before, Victor?
I have heard Benjamin, yeah.
Yeah, Benjamins. Where have you heard Benjamins?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Maybe in a movie.
Okay, yeah. There's it's used a lot in movies. There's also a song called All About the Benjamins. And it just means it's all about $100 bills. Yeah?
Sorry. And I thought it's a common term for dollars, bucks, no?
Oh, bucks, yeah. Bucks is used a lot. Bucks you could actually use probably at the bank even. It's very, 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 very common. However, dough, bread, cheddar, or loot are very informal. So you wouldn't go to the bank and say, I need to withdraw some cheddar, right? That would not be good. You would hear that a lot in different informal conversation. It's used a lot in movies. You might say for $1 bills, singles or bucks, right? Again, as we said. And then a few $1,000 bills, you can just call G's, right? If you have $2,000 bills, you can say 2 G's, okay? Again, that is very informal. You would not go to the bank and say, can I withdraw or can I deposit 2 G's into my bank account? Okay, you would not say that. If you have many $1,000 bills, you can call them stacks. A stack of something is just like a pile of something. So that's where that name comes from. And then this last one, if you need to borrow money from a friend, you can say, hey, can you spot me? Right? If you forgot your wallet or something, or forgot your money, you can say, can you spot me? Right? Just a couple bucks. Maybe you can say that. Okay. Any questions about that one? About where you can use it or anything like that? Adrian, does it all sound very clear?
Yes, okay.
Okay. The next part we have describing something good or positive. I'm going to ask Anthony, can you read this next one in blue?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course. There are many different ways to describe something in English. American slang includes many ways to talk about or describe something in a positive way. I'm sure you've all heard the word cool to describe something in a good way. You can also say something is all good, all that, and even all that and a bag of chips. You have probably heard the word awesome, but have you heard the phrase awesome sauce? People also might describe something as wicked if they like it very much.
So, thank you, Anthony. There are a lot of very weird American slang phrases in here. You've all probably heard cool, right? That's a very, very common one. You know, you can use cool to describe a lot of things. You can say, it's cool, right? You can say, if your friend says, how are you doing? You can say, no, no, it's cool. I'm fine. I'm good. To describe something in a good way. You can also say that something is all good, right? If maybe you had a problem before and someone says, hey, how is everything going? You can say, oh, you know, it's all good now, right? If something is all that, right, that's again describing something good. And even all that in a bag of chips. That's very, very weird, right? Sounds very strange, but it means the same thing as something good. It's all good. It's cool, right? You have probably heard awesome. Americans use awesome a lot, right? We use awesome to say, even if something isn't awesome, right? We just say, you know, oh wow, that's awesome. Okay, we use it a lot. But have you heard the phrase awesome sauce? Awesome sauce is sort of a newer slang, but it just means the same. It's sort of more of a like dorky or nerdy way of saying awesome, though. People also might describe something as wicked if they like it very much. If you go to, if you have a favorite show, you might say, oh man, that show, Breaking Bad, it's just wicked, right? You might say something like that. So there are, again, these are a lot of different ways of saying good and positive. There are a lot more. Okay, these are just a few, just to give you sort of an idea. Any questions about that one? Or any comments or anything to add? Okay, this next one is a little bit shorter. Coffee. Who here drinks coffee? Allah, do you drink coffee?
I'm not a fan, not so much.
Okay. Adrian, do you like coffee?
Yes, I like coffee.
Yeah, me too. I drink coffee every morning, right? I have to drink coffee or I stay asleep, right? In America, coffee is a really popular drink, and it's pretty popular in a lot of places. But we also have a lot of different ways to talk about coffee. Okay, so in America, there are a few different slang words to talk about or describe coffee. These include Joe, right? You can say, can I have a cup of Joe? Right? It's kind of weird, but you can say, can I just have a cup of Joe? Java. You can say brew, right? People might say that they need their caffeine fix. What is caffeine? Does anyone know what caffeine is?
Yeah, component in the coffee.
Good, yeah. It's a sort of like a chemical, I guess you could describe it, in coffee, or a component that makes you, it gives you that awake feeling, right? It's in a lot of different things, but it's also in coffee. So people might say their caffeine fix, right? A fix is where you might get something like caffeine or just a feeling, right? They also might say jolt. Jolt comes from the idea of like electricity. So if you've ever been shocked by electricity or touched something and it makes you jump, we call that a jolt. Okay, and people also describe it or use this word to describe the feeling they get if they drink coffee. Okay, and then they have morning perk, right? That's another way. Morning perk, I would say, is less common, though, than things like jolt or caffeine fix. I would also say that brew is less common. Java is a little bit more common, and Joe is very common. Okay, you could say to a lot of people, can I have a cup of Joe or a cup of Joe, if you say it very fast. And that would be very common. They would know what you were saying. Okay. Any questions about this one, about coffee? Okay, this next section, insults. Okay, now before I get started on this one, there are a lot of very inappropriate insults in English, but I am not going to talk about all of them in this class. Okay, there are a lot of websites and things, and it is important and good to know about those bad insults. For a lot of reasons, it's good to know about those words, right? But in this class, we're going to talk about the more mild, or maybe less, I would say less informal types of insults in English. And then I'm going to give you sort of a little bit of a hint about how to use these insults at the end of this reading, okay? Paolo, can you read about insults, please? And don't worry, there's nothing, you know, you won't have to say any bad words. I would not ever make anyone say anything like that with insults, okay? So you're good.
Okay.
Okay.
Many of you may already know some common English insults. A creep or scumbag is a weird or unpleasant person, while a jerk is more of a foolish or rude person. You can also say that someone gave you the creeps if they scared you or made you feel uncomfortable. A wacko or weirdo is a person who is very strange or irrational. There are many ways to describe someone as weak or easily afraid, such as wimp or chicken. Remember, these are considered insults, so do not call people these words if you do not want them to get angry.
Okay, thanks, Paolo. You did a good job. So, again, we said creep or scumbag is a weird or unpleasant person. A jerk is usually someone that is sort of just rude, right? If someone's sort of rude or mean to other people, you might say, oh, what a jerk, right? You can also say that someone gave you the creeps if they scared you or made you feel uncomfortable, okay? A wacko or a weirdo is someone who's just very strange. And then this next one, if you want to describe someone as easily scared or afraid, you might say they are a wimp or a chicken, right? A chicken, we all know what that is, right? It's the animal, and I'm not really sure where it comes from, but I've even heard you might even hear someone make the chicken noise at someone if they are sort of weak, or if they want to say that they are weak or easily afraid. For example, you might hear someone say, oh, you know, Teacher Berta was afraid of that movie, bark, 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 right? They might make that noise, and that's sort of a common insult. Remember, as we say at the end, these are considered insults. So do not call people these words if you do not want them to get angry. So if you call someone a chicken, sometimes you can call someone a chicken and they will know you are just joking and they won't get very, very, very mad. But if you call someone a jerk or a scumbag or sometimes a weirdo, they might get very offended. Okay, and there are a lot more insults than just this one. We have a lot of insults in American slang. Okay? This next section about food and eating. And I actually have some pictures associated with this one that I'll be explaining a little bit coming up. Allah, can you read this section in blue?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Food and eating. There are many different ways to talk about food and eating in English. Another slang word for food is grub. A slang word for alcohol is booze. If you are very hungry, starving, and want to eat a lot of food, you might say you want to pig out. Fast food or junk food is quickly prepared food that you can buy at places like McDonald's. Do you like sweet foods? It sounds like you might have a sweet tooth. When describing certain foods, slang might depend on where you are in the United States. For example, the word for this sandwich.
Okay, so I'll get to that one in just a little bit. Let's look at this part. Thank you for reading that, Allah. There are many different words you can say. Grub. You can say, guys, I'm hungry. Let's go get some grub. Right? Another word for alcohol is booze. Okay? If you're really hungry, you can say, guys, I'm starving. Right? You can, if you plan on eating a lot of food, you can say that you want to pig out, okay? And it's the same meaning, right? It's that you think it probably means. We say pigs are an animal that sort of eat a lot and eat very messily. So if you say, I want to pig out, it's like you want to pretend that you're a pig, almost, okay? And then we know fast food and junk food are quickly prepared foods. And then if you like sweets, you might say that you have a sweet tooth. Okay, if you say, guys, I love chocolate, I have a sweet tooth. Okay. This last part, when describing foods, slang might depend on where you are in the United States. For example, this sandwich has 3 different names in the United States. 3 different words for this. You can call it a hoagie, you can call it a sub, or you can call it a grinder. Okay? And then if we, where I'm from in the United States, on the East Coast, we either call it a sub or a hoagie. Okay, no one really calls it a grinder. That's normally, I think, in sort of the Midwest, from what I understand. Okay, so that's just sort of to give you an idea that a lot of these words have different words around the United States. Another example is the word for a carbonated drink like Coke or Pepsi, okay, or Sprite, or Dr. Pepper, or something like that. So Coca-Cola or Pepsi might be soda, pop, or Coke, depending on where you are in the country. So if you look at this map to give you an idea, you'll see that this part in red is where people call it soda. So where I'm from, people might say, do you want a soda? But if you go to this blue part, they might say, do you want pop? If you would go to this green part, they might say, do you want a Coke? Even if it's something else, even if it's not Coca-Cola, they might only call it Coke. Okay? So this is just to give you an idea that all over the United States, we have different words for different like slang and variations for different words. This last section, okay, with friends. So just general ways to talk about or to talk to your friends. Adrian, can you read this last part in blue, please?
Yes, with friends. There are many ways to describe friends and friendship in English. You can say that your friends are your besties, usually used with between friends, or your bros, usually used between my friends. Spending time with your friend is also hanging out, and spending relaxing time with your friend is chilling. If you need to stay at a friend's house overnight, you might ask them if you can crash on their couch or sofa.
Good job. So just to review, you can say that your friends are your besties, but that's usually used between females, between women or girls, okay? They might say, I'm hanging out with my besties, okay? If you are a man or a boy, you would use, sometimes you could use the slang bros, right? You could say, I'm just hanging out with my bros. And bro is short for brother. So it's sort of like just saying, I'm hanging out with my bros, I'm hanging out with my brothers, okay? And then again, we said spending time with your friends is also hanging out. Has anyone heard that phrase?
Yes.
Yeah, that one's pretty common, hanging out. You can also say spending relaxing time with your friends is chilling. Okay, you can say I'm just chilling with my friends. Okay, that's normally if it's relaxing time. Okay, if you need to stay at a friend's house overnight, you might say, can I crash on your couch? So a couch is like the long seating. It's usually soft. Another word is sofa. You might just say, can I crash at your house? Or can I crash on your sofa? Okay. Any questions about this section? Okay. So
What if
yeah?
I'm relaxing? I'm relaxing, but without any friends. Can I say I'm chilling?
Yeah, you can say, even if you're not with other people, you can just say, I'm hanging out around my apartment, or I'm just chilling out around my house, right? If you want to go to a place in town, you can say, I'm just chilling out downtown, right? So you can use it for a lot of different situations. Question, Victor.
Thank you.
Okay, so we learned a little bit about those American slang words. I'm going to stop the screen share. Again, all of you have a copy of that. Now we're going to do sort of a review where you will see where you can use those different slang words in sentences. Okay, so I'm going to pull that up and share that with you, and we'll see if you can answer these questions about American slang. So, some of these are a little bit tricky or difficult. The directions. Complete the sentences using the best slang or slang phrase. Okay? So I will be calling on people, and if you don't know the answer, I'll give you a couple of minutes or a couple of seconds, really. And if you don't know the answer, just say, I'm sorry, teacher, I don't know. Slang is too weird and difficult. Okay? So number one, he made so much blank last year. He is rolling in blank. So I'm going to try, let's see, Allah.
Okay. He made so much cheddar last year. He's rolling in Benjamins.
Good, yeah. He made so much cheddar last year, he's rolling in Benjamins, right? You can imagine someone making a lot of money and rolling around in that money. That's really what that sort of means, right? Not literally, but just a way to kind of think about it, right? We wouldn't say he made so much grub last year, he's rolling in booze. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. This next one, I probably shouldn't have any blank if I have to drive. Victor.
I probably shouldn't have Any booze if I want to drive.
Good. If I have to drive.
Yeah,
Good. I probably shouldn't have any booze or alcohol. Number 3, it's a 3-part one. So this one's a little bit tricky. Okay. Let's read through it. I am blank and want to blank on some blank. So this one's a little bit tricky. Does anyone think they know this one before I call someone?
I know.
I think I know.
So we have 2 people that think they probably know it. Yeah, Victor, I think I saw your icon blinking a little bit first, so I'll let you try to answer it.
I'm starving and want to pig out on some fast food.
Good. I'm starving and want to pig out on some fast food. Good. Number 4, Paolo, I'm going to let you answer this one. I'm so
Teacher,
hungry. Yeah?
does it work also? I am a creep and want to wimp on some grinder.
So remember that wimp means someone who's like afraid of something.
Okay. Right.
Also, you wouldn't want to call yourself a creep, because remember it's an insult. So you probably
Okay.
wouldn't call yourself a creep. But good question. Okay. Good. Paolo, I'm gonna let you answer number 4. I'm so hungry I could eat an entire blank.
All of above.
Good, all of the above. I could eat a hoagie, grinder, or sub. You could say all of those. Number 5. I'm going to call on Adrian. I'm going to have to change this one because it's missing a word. He gave me the blank when he wouldn't leave.
Yeah, I don't know, Robert.
Okay, this one's a little bit tricky. Does anyone think they might know what this one is? Okay, so you wouldn't say he gave me the wicked when he wouldn't leave. Remember we said wicked is something that's normally good. The loot, normally that probably wouldn't make a lot of sense in this sentence. You could say he gave me the creeps, right? This person made this other person feel uncomfortable, right? If someone doesn't leave and you want them to, they make you feel uncomfortable. So you would say, he gave me the creeps, okay? Let's look at this next one. Don't worry, John, everything is what? I'm going to ask Allah.
Don't worry, John. Everything is all good or awesome.
Right, so you can say it's D, both A and B. So you can say everything is all good, everything is awesome. Right, you can say both of those things. Number 7, every morning I get my blank with a cup of blank. Paolo, can you try that one?
Yeah. Every morning I get my. I think that all of the above.
Yeah, you're right. It's all of the above. Yeah. Every morning I get my morning perk with a cup of Java. Every morning I get my jolt with a cup of brew. Every morning I get my caffeine fix with a cup of Joe. I would say C is the most common one. The others are sort of less common, but you can say all of those. Okay? So good. Yeah, it's all of the above. All right. This last one, this last section, fill in the blank. All right. Number 1, I know you don't like your new haircut, but I think it's... Which one do you think it might be? Which one might fit? I think it's chicken. I don't think so.
All that and a bag of chips.
Good. Yeah, it's all that and a bag of chips, right? I know you don't like it, but I think it's great, or I think it's awesome. I think it's all that in a bag of chips. Number 2, he really likes ice cream. He's got a...
Sweet tooth.
Good, yeah, sweet tooth. 3, I really liked seeing that band play. It was totally... So remember, it's one of the ones from the section about positive.
Wicked.
Yeah, good, yeah. It was totally wicked, right? That's very informal, but you can say it was totally wicked. I love seeing that band play. Totally wicked. Number 4, listen, can you blank me a few blank? This is a 2-part one.
Spot me a few bucks.
Good. Can you spot me a few bucks? Good. You can definitely say that if you are, talking to friends or something. Number 5, when I got scared during the movie, my friends called me a...
Chicken.
Chicken, yeah. So rude, right? Such mean friends. The last one, number 6. Do you mind if I blank on your blank? Which one do you think this might be?
Crash on your couch.
Yeah, good. Do you mind if I crash on your couch? Sounds very weird, right? But that's what it means. Any questions about these? Okay, so for the last, we've got maybe like a couple more minutes. Are there any slang phrases that you've heard in the United, or heard anywhere really in English, that you are curious about? Slang or slang phrases, or any questions about what we just talked about?
Teacher, is buddy a slang for a friend also? Buddy?
Yeah, exactly. Buddy. You can say it's used the same as friends. Yeah, you can say my buddies or my buddy, things like that. Good. Yep.
How about fella?
Fella. Yeah. Where did you hear fella?
I hear that somebody call animal. Hi, my fella.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Horse or camel.
Okay, yeah, you can say that's sort of something I hear a lot in introductions, or if you're just meeting someone, or like if you have a pet, you might say, "Oh, hey, fella." Yeah, you could say that, or "This is my fella." Yeah. Any others?
I heard some expression. It says "do one." Do one. It means
Can you type
go
it?
away. Go away.
Oh, go on.
Yeah. Get
Is
out
it
of here.
do one? I think you might know a slang that I don't know. I don't know if I've heard that one. I know there's like go on. If you want someone to like keep talking about something, you can say, go on. I wouldn't say that's slang though. Do one I'm not sure about. That's new. I'll have to look that one up. You might have know more slang, or yeah, you
I'm
might know
asking.
more
I
slang.
don't sure as well.
Okay, yeah. I'll have to look that one up. I'm not sure about do one. Good. Any others?
Yeah, teacher, about
Allah?
craving. Craving, is it slang? Craving, when I talk about eating. Night craving.
Yeah, craving.
Yeah.
You might say, I'm craving ice cream, or I'm craving some other type of food. It just means that you like really, really want that food. Yeah, you can say craving. I'll type that in for people. Paolo, did you have a question?
Yes, the slang for G-Day, it means good morning or how are you?
So it's pronounced g'day. You say the G sound and then day, so it's like g'day. It's like a very like a, how do you say? Now I'm forgetting the word for it, but it's a way to like shorten the word good and day. It's like an abbreviation almost. And
Sure.
Yeah, shrinking, right? Making it smaller. So yeah, it's another way to say hello or good day. It's short for good day.
Yeah.
Good. Where did you hear that one?
The Australians say that.
Oh, yeah. Good
G'day,
day.
mate.
Yeah,
G'day,
good
mate.
day, mate. Yeah, that's what they, I've heard that they say that in Australia. Good. Good. Hey, so good job, guys, coming up with some good questions about different slang. I hope you learned a little bit about some common slang phrases used in English. If you have any questions, feel free to message me or to comment, and I'll do my best to answer those for you. Okay? All right. So if you don't have any questions, that's it for today. Thanks for coming, guys.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Roberta.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you
You're
very much,
welcome.
teacher.
Goodbye.
Bye.
See you
Bye-bye.
later.
See you later.